Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my channel, My Loverlies. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I am so happy you found me. I do so hope that you will like and subscribe before you leave. Become part of the Mama family. Mama's got your back, at least where makeup's concerned, and definitely when that makeup is cheap. Hello. So today we are going to go over the new Beauty Bay Grunge collection. I have it all over my eyes at the moment. My makeup is not done, but that is because I am filming this video in between cooking dinner, getting ready for Mr. Hubby to get home, and all of that good stuff. Homework, showers, the works. So I didn't want to do my base before I ate dinner because, you know, I have to take pictures and all that good stuff. So it was just going to end up getting destroyed. So I love this eye look, but I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it with no other face makeup on. I feel like I look a little bit weird at the moment, but guys, I love the way that this eye look turned out. I think it is so, so beautifully, incredibly grunge worthy, and I'm just really kind of feeling it. So I finally got my package from Beauty Bay. I ordered a couple of different things, and I've been playing with everything that I ordered off and on, just really trying to get a feel for the collection, so that way when I did the unboxing and things like that, I could really tell you my full opinion on it, and I do have thoughts. So I got a couple of different things in this order. The first of which is the Beauty Bay Technidays? Yeah, Technidays palette. It's a pressed pigment palette. I think this packaging is some of the cutest out of the entire order. I think this was like $4. Definitely not expensive at all. The packaging, again, is so super cute. So the thing I really enjoy about Beauty Bay is they take care in their packaging. When they package their products, they always make sure that they double bubble wrap everything. Say that 3 times fast. They double bubble wrap everything. I have never gotten anything from them broken, which I am so thankful for. The shipping with Beauty Bay usually takes about 3 weeks. Anywhere from 3 weeks to a month, so be prepared when you place an order with them to wait. But it is always so worth it. Everything comes beautifully wrapped and, you know, thoughtfully packaged. So this is the Technidays palette. I think this packaging is so super cute. Cardboard packaging. I think this is an 8-color palette. Yeah. So it's an 8-color palette. You get a nice big sized mirror, and this is the color story. So you have 3 shimmers and the rest are mattes. The shimmers in here seem to be more of a kind of topper formula, but they're very pretty, very, very glittery. I can't wait to use them. They seem different. They're a little bit different than, I want to say, like in my bigger Beauty Bay palettes. They don't seem as wet. They don't seem as creamy, but I kind of like that. As much as I love the Beauty Bay shimmers, that purple is absolutely everything. As much as I love the Beauty Bay shimmers, sometimes they can be a bit difficult to pick up with a brush, and I found that to hold true for this new palette that I'm going to talk about today. But these ones have a little bit more of a dryness to them. They're not dry by any means, but they're not quite as creamy, so they pick up beautifully both on a brush and on your finger. I find with the Beauty Bay shimmers, in particular, they always work best with a finger, but this is the palette. Super, super pretty. I haven't used this one yet, but I can't wait to. I think this color story is very, very fun. The next one I want to talk to you guys about is this one, and I have used this one already. This is the Soda Beauty Create Yourself palette. So this, I believe, to be I don't know if it's Russian or Ukraine, or it is definitely it's kind of over in that general area, just because even the writing on the back, I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of in a different language. It's definitely not French, but it is a super cute palette. If you like understated makeup, if you enjoy neutrals, if you enjoy color but soft color, I think this would be a great brand for you. They are incredibly affordable. So I looked them up on the Beauty Bay website, and even when they're not on sale, they're super, super affordable. But when they do go on sale, they go on sale for like $3, $4, $5 a piece. This was a super cute palette. I created pretty much a sunset eye with this palette. This is the Color Story. And out of the only thing that I don't like about this palette is there's just not very much depth in here. So this is a, I think it's what, a 16 pan palette for 8, 12, 16. So a 16 pan palette, and out of those 16 shades, I think there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 mattes out of the entire thing, and everything else is a shimmer. So I really enjoyed the mattes. There was a little bit of fallout with them, so just be careful of that. And they're nicely pigmented, but gently so. So it is not a scary palette to work with at all. So I find that they go on the eye and they're pigmented, but they're buildable. And that's why I say it's such a beginner-friendly formula, because you can really build up your intensity and build up the opacity, and it's just easy to work with. The mattes are great. I have nothing to say about the mattes other than there is a little bit of fallout, so just make sure that you're doing your eye makeup before you do your base. The shimmers they're not shimmers. Well, they kind of are. They're not glittery in any way, and they're not really metallic either. They're more of that like satiny, softly metallic kind of shimmer that is very smoothing on the eyelid. I like to call them satin shimmers just because they reflect the light. I'm going to swatch them for you. They reflect the light beautifully, like there's crazy pigmented. So this is a really beautiful dark green. This is the shade Butterfly. It's a really beautiful dark green, beautifully pigmented. I really think that the shimmers are more pigmented than the mattes are, which is so odd. But the thing about this is, and the thing about this formula is, because you can see they really don't have much of a reflect to them. They just have that kind of satiny, sheeny kind of quality to them. And because of that, you could actually use these as mattes, and it's not gonna like play with the light in a weird way. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to play with this palette a little bit more. I definitely want to look into this brand a little bit more and just kind of see what they're all about. I've been trying to kind of expand my view and expand my knowledge, and try to play with and try and test as many brands as I can. And this is a really great option. They're super affordable. My two favorite shimmers in this entire palette are these two right here though. This one is so pretty, makes an absolutely fantastic, see, it's got more of a reflect to it. It's got a little bit of an iridescence to it that makes it a beautiful highlight shade, as well as this one. So that was the shade Euphoria, and then you have this one right here, which is Paradise, and this one is a little bit more of a champagne color, but still has a little bit of that pearlescent iridescence to it. I think these are both super beautiful. The one that I used all over my lid yesterday was this one. This was First Love. And I thought this one was super pretty too. It has a little bit of that pearlescence to it as well. And it has almost like a kind of like a duochromatic kind of vibe to it. It shifts from a really beautiful like pinky purple to something a little bit pearlier and a little bit lighter. It's a very pretty color. I used these two shades all over my lid yesterday, and it just looked really pretty. Again, I am not upset about this palette. I'm excited to try and test out more palettes from this brand. The only thing that's kind of a deal breaker for me is that it just doesn't have very much depth in it. I do wish there was a more even ratio of mattes to shimmers. But if you like shimmers, this is a great palette. I'm not mad at it at all. The next thing I picked up, so I picked up this bad boy right here. This is the Beauty Bay 16 color fiery eyeshadow palette. And this one is more of a, it's more of a neutrals palette, but it's a warm toned neutrals palette. And of course, if you guys know anything about me, you will know that I absolutely adore orange. Orange, coral, pink. Oh, they're just my favorite colors. This packaging is absolutely everything. I really enjoy the Beauty Bay packaging. I think that they're heavy, but not too heavy. I think that they're very sturdy. They feel well made. They definitely feel more expensive than they are. I was able to pick this up for $5, and that is not a bad price at all. You get a nice big mirror And of course, they fold back for ease of handling, and this is your color story. This is a warm-toned lover's dream. You have a great ratio of mattes to shimmers. I really enjoy the metallics in this palette. They're creamy, but not overly so, so they pick up beautifully with both a brush and your finger. This is the shade New Penny, so it's a really gorgeous kind of copper. But can you instantly see the difference between the reflectiveness of this shimmer versus the reflectiveness of these? These are so much more satiny and softly pearlescent, while this one is definitely metallic. I love it so much. I think both formulas have their uses, but you guys know, go bold or go home. That's my motto, and I really enjoy this Beauty Bay kind of metallic formula. So you have lots of beautiful metallics. You have plenty of transition shades, plenty of mattes. It goes, again, you know, the depth thing. I just think that Beauty Bay needs to work on depth in some of their palettes. They tend to lean a lot more to the kind of lighter side of things, and they usually forget to put that deep, dark matte into the palette. The deepest matte in the palette is this one right here. And you know, I can always pull out a, and that's pretty deep, so it's not too bad. I adore the Beauty Bay matte formula, so I have nothing negative to say about that at all whatsoever. And that's fairly deep, and I guess it's deep enough for an everyday basis, which is what this palette is meant to be. This is an everyday warm neutrals palette. It's absolutely stunning. You do have this really beautiful deep chocolatey color down here. This is called Sleepwalker, and it is an absolutely stunning deep bronzy shimmer, or bronzy metallic. Absolutely stunning. And even then, it's opaque and pigmented enough that you could use that on the outer corner and get away with it. So I'm not mad about it at all. I do wish there was kind of a matte black or something like that. I want a matte black in every single one of my palettes, but that is why I always have a matte single shadow just kind of sitting up here on my desk, just in case I need something to deepen up the look a little bit. This usually works for me. Any kind of matte single will work, but this is a great palette. I'm super excited. This has intrigued me for the longest time. I probably could have got the 42 shade palette, but I didn't need another gigantic palette. I'm in the middle of a declutter as it is. I don't need to be adding too much more, especially I don't need to be adding big giant palettes to my collection. I do prefer bigger palettes to smaller ones though. Variety is the spice of life. The more choices I have, the happier I am. But that, you know, the opposite is true for a lot of people. They want something that's concise, they want something that's very edited, and something super easy to use. The smaller a palette is, the less mind, you know, brain power you have to have or use to make it work, to use it. And there are days where I just do not have the brain power to spare, and that is when I go for my smaller palettes. So I'm happy to have this in my collection. I've never heard a single negative thing about any of the Beauty Bay neutral palettes. I think neutrals are pretty easy to do. Ugh, this one is just kind of like calling to me. This shade right here. It's like a beautiful burnt sienna color. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to use this. This is going to be just like my absolute everything. I'm going to keep it right next to me here at my desk, and we're going to... Yes, I am very happy. I probably at some point in time will get the 42 shade Fiery palette, especially if it goes on sale. I'll probably end up picking it up because I like the 42 shade palettes, but this is a really great one if you're just looking for an everyday warm neutrals palette. And this thing is on sale like all the time. I think it goes on sale for like $5 every other day, honestly. Great option. Now, before I get into the new grunge collection, I want to talk about the extra, the freebie that they sent me. So I think if you spent like $35, they gave you a freebie. It might have even been like $25. But this was my freebie. They sent me this hydrating overnight moisture balm. It says it has hyaluronic acid and polyglutamic acid. It says for nourishing and aiding in hydration for all skin types. So this was my freebie. I am always down to play with to get a new moisturizer. I love skincare almost as much as I love my makeup. And moisturizer, you guys know I have super dry skin. Moisturizer is one of those things that I will never ever kick out of bed. I send me all the moisturizers you want to. This is what the packaging looks like for this. It just seems like a really cute, pretty simple moisturizer. I was looking at the ingredients of it. Yeah, it's got some different kind of oils in it. I don't see anything super special about it. Besides it says it has targeted ingredients, simple formula. It just looks like a really simple kind of everyday moisturizer. Now it does come safety sealed for your protection, so I haven't touched it yet. I kind of wanted to experience it on camera with you guys. Oh, so it's more of a kind of gel consistency. That feels greasy. If you guys can see that. So what is this? This is a overnight moisture balm. Okay, so yeah, I don't like the way that feels at all. This definitely feels greasy. This does not feel rich. It doesn't feel hydrating. It just feels greasy. I can understand why they're giving this away. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that if I looked this up on the website, it probably wouldn't have great reviews. It just is, can you guys see that? What it's leaving on the back of my hand, it's leaving like it's not really absorbing. It's just kind of spreading out and coating my skin. This would probably be nice for, what is that word? For when you like you put like oil or something like Vaseline, slugging. This probably would be great for slugging. So if you're into slugging, maybe this is the product for you. Yeah, it's kind of absorbed now, but that texture is not my favorite. Well, I'm gonna have to maybe use that a little bit more. It feels like probably would be a great, but it's making my fingers super greasy. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. No. That is going to be a no for me. Thank the Lord that was a freebie. I can completely understand why they're sending that out for free, though. Definitely wouldn't pick that up again. So, guys, we come to the meat of the video. This is the Beauty Bay Dark Fantasy palette. First of all, the packaging is absolutely everything. I freaking adore the packaging. This is just the unicarton, but I just absolutely love the color story. The deep dark purples and greens, and oh, it is so very pretty. Guys, I really enjoyed this palette. I really enjoyed using this palette. I thought the color story was nothing like revolutionary, but it does lend itself to a really beautiful, very moody, grungy kind of eye look. So this is what the actual palette looks like. I think the packaging is stunning. Definitely the prettiest packaged Beauty Bay palette I own to date. I just love this. It looks so deep and dark and moody. It's just very pretty. You open it up, standard 20 shade Beauty Bay layout, so you have your nice big mirror with your cardboard packaging, and this is what your color story looks like. So no lack of depth in this palette at all. You have tons of deep, dark, matte kind of shades. You have this really beautiful sequined matte shade, matte black shade up here in the corner. You've got a couple of different greens. You've got a couple of different purples. You've got a blue matte, and then you have this blue kind of shimmery color that I have all over my lid at the moment. My two favorite shimmers in here are going to be these two right here. So we have the shade Source and the shade Machine. So the blue one is Source and the green one is Machine. They're beautiful. I will say that you have to use your finger. I tried using a wet brush. I tried kind of just packing it on. None of that really worked. For some reason, it just wants to kind of, here, I'll show you. I'm going to take a flat packing brush, which is the way that I apply all of my shimmers. My e.l.f. concealer brush is my preferred brush for any kind of metallic or shimmer shadow. And when you put this shade on with a brush. I'm going to get a good bit. I'm going to scrape some up, get a good bit on my brush. And then when you pack it on, it looks pretty, but the minute you try to kind of blend it out at all and blend the edges, that vibrancy and that really beautiful kind of reflect just kind of disappears and mutes quite a bit. The same goes for the green shade. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to flip my brush over, so quite a bit on there, and kind of try to blend that in to the outer corner. And it just kind of loses that really beautiful vibrancy, and they just kind of blend together. So that wasn't my absolute favorite, but when you pack it on with your finger, I mean, bada boom, it is there. So definitely use your finger for this, even if you just kind of pack on or use your brush, put on your first layer, and then kind of blend out your edges, and then just pack a little bit more in the center. I will say that they take just a little bit more work than some other Beauty Bay shadows that I have tried in the past, but the colors are so beautiful. It's not like they're unworkable, and it's not like they take a ton of extra work, but I did just want to let you know. Also, the mattes in here are fantastic. I didn't have a problem with any of the mattes in here. Beautifully blendable, buildable. I think the mattes in here are a bit more blendable. They're not quite as pigmented as some of my other Beauty Bay palettes. And that's okay, because they're so deep and so dark that you really want to be able to control that opacity and really control you know, your depth and there's a word I'm looking for and absolutely cannot find it, but you want to be able to control deep dark mattes like this. So I am totally okay with them being buildable. Not to say that they're not pigmented, because they're pigmented, but they are more blendable than, or not more blendable, but they're more buildable than some of my other Beauty Bay mattes. These three shades right here, these three. These three right here are stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. I do want to swatch them for you and they feel different. They're not quite as, it's kind of a different formula. They're not quite as wet as some of the, as some of the other Beauty Bay metallics usually are, but they are so incredibly beautiful. So this one is Grime. This one is Hack, and this one is Code. But they're such beautiful, beautiful topper shades. Let's go. I'm going to take a little bit of this matte purple. This is Grunge. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Hack and put that right over top. And you can see how beautifully it just kind of makes that matte pop. And then the same shade swatched right beside it. So incredibly reflective. Guys, they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal. This shade right here, Code, this like foiled silver color, is insane. Just insane. I think these are probably the prettiest. Look how reflective those are. They literally look like melted metal. They're so, so gorgeous. Of course, they are topper shades. So you're going to really want a base if you want them to go on nice and opaque. Please be aware that I'm swatching these over that balm, so they're going onto a sticky base. I just really wanted to show you guys the colors though. Let's go ahead and swatch them on something that's not sticky, so I'm not misleading you guys. So I don't have any balm up here. So that's what they look like not on a sticky or tacky base, compared to what they look like swatched on something, that really kind of holds on to the product. So there is a difference there. You definitely, if you're not using these over a base, definitely are going to want to use like a glitter glue or something like that to really hold on to the product, because they are very, very glittery. And I did experience a little bit of fallout working with this palette. This shade right here, this shade Distortion. Oh, this really gorgeous kind of deep burgundy maroon color is absolutely freaking stunning. I really enjoyed this palette. I really enjoyed this palette. I didn't think that there was anything wrong with it at all. They swatch beautifully. They go on the eye well. You maybe need to take just a little bit of extra time to really make them stick to your eye. Like I said, use your finger, use a tacky base. That goes for most glittery shadows though. It's just kind of the way the world works. A wet brush is going to be your best friend using the metallics in this palette. But guys, it is so, so beautiful. And it will, I'm sure, go on sale sometime. I think it was on sale. I think the day after I bought it, it went on sale. So yeah, do I think that this palette is worth having? I definitely do. Even if you just wanted to pick it up for the shimmers alone, maybe the mattes in here are nothing like special. I probably have dupes for the mattes in here a couple times over, though I do think this shade in general, the shade Plasma, was a really pretty kind of unique shade. It's somewhere between a teal and a sea foam, but it's like a grungy teal sea foam. It's very pretty. I actually have that shade on my inner corner up through here, and it's really pretty. I think the light pastel-y grunginess of it really contrasts with the deep darker shades in the palette, and it just, again, contrast is one of those things that really intensifies the you know, the interestingness of an eye look, and I think that this palette has got that. It's interesting. It is definitely interesting. I also picked up all three of the Chrome Collection Liquid Crystal eyeshadows. So these are the three eyeshadows, liquid eyeshadows, that they released with the in this collection, the Dark Fantasy collection. These are pretty, but these were a little bit disappointing, and I'm going to tell you why. So swatching these, they look absolutely phenomenal. If I can get all of them out. They all look so pretty. In the bottle, you can definitely tell that they are that they look like multi-chromes. They're very shifty, very chromatic. This one, I'm gonna say, is probably definitely the most long wearing out of all three of them. This one really wants to stick around. This is the shade, oh my gosh, I'm so blind. It's the silver one out of the bunch, and this is what it looks like swatched. Really gorgeous. I'm gonna say that the swatches on these are a little bit they're a little bit misleading, because I went to put this on my eyelid. I was gonna use these all over my lid instead of any of the powder shadows in here, and what ended up happening is I went to put these on my eyelid, and for some reason, the very minute I took my brush to kind of tap out the edges and blend them a little bit, the sparkle and the shimmer and the specialness just kind of disappeared. And I don't know if that's because I need to work with them a little bit more, but I do work with liquid eyeshadows fairly often, and pretty much know my way around them and know how to treat them. So I'm not sure why they did that. They're very pretty. They're very chromatic, metallic, shiny. They're very glittery as well. It's just the minute you try to go blend them out, they just kind of disappear. I did put these, so these are definitely more topper shades. I wouldn't say that they really disappear, but they go very sheer. So they're definitely more so topper shades. You're going to want to use these over a darker base, but that's okay. That was the silver shade. Then you have this green shade right here, which is so incredibly beautiful. You can see this shift is so strong with these. So it looks super bright lime green, but then I wish I could show it to you guys on my camera, because it looks bright green on my camera, but I see this really gorgeous like blue turquoise color. It's stunning. These are those kind of things that you really just have to see in real life, because the camera just isn't gonna do them justice, but it's beautiful. And then last but not least, you have this gorgeous deep purple one. And this one switches from like blue to purple, but you can see they're a little bit streaky. This one is the worst out of all of them. These two, I really believe that you could make work. This one, for some reason though, this one is so streaky and so patchy. I tried to get like an even opaque layer of this on my eye, and I just couldn't do it. I tried to paint it on with a brush. I tried to pack it on with the applicator. It just wouldn't go on in a, it just would not go on in an opaque layer at all. And then once you blend it out, it just kind of turns into this super muddy kind of, it just loses all of its specialness. It just turns gray. This one, the silver one, is the best out of the entire collection. But I want to show you guys the green one so you guys know what I'm talking about. I would pass on these. They're beautiful, but I would pass on them. They're just not practical. So I want to show you this one. So it looks beautiful in the swatch, right? But then the minute you try to kind of blend it out and really do anything with it, it just kind of goes super patchy. This one is not as bad as that purple one. This one kind of retains a little bit of it, but I don't know if you guys can see how patchy and streaky it is. This one is all right. The silver one is the best, but I would 100% skip on the purple one. The purple one was the most disappointing thing out of this entire video. I'm going to do it again so you guys know that I am not playing with you. Let's just do a swatch of it and do the same thing that I did with the green one. Try to blend it out a little bit. And I'm not even shearing it out very much, just kind of tapping at it, and it literally disappears. It goes grungy, it loses any kind of reflectiveness, it just goes gray and muddy and gross. This one is, if I could send this back, I definitely would. This one was a complete and total waste of money. The silver one is, let's do the silver one. So the silver one, we'll just kind of tap it out a little bit. It goes very, very sheer. It gets just a little bit patchy. You can see it gets super patchy and super streaky, but it's still got a little bit of that reflectiveness, right? The green one, surprisingly, this one looked the best on my eyes, but the green one is the one that's looking the best in the swatches. So maybe go for the green one. I'm not exactly sure. I know that all of these, if I had the choice to, you know, if I had the choice to buy them again and go back in time, I would tell myself to skip on these. They do look beautiful on the lips though. They do sit down. They're not waterproof by any means. They wash right away with water. So if you have watery eyes, probably not the best for you. I do think these would probably make really great like graphic liners, things like that. They look beautiful on the lips. I had this green one on my lips earlier, and it looked so, so pretty. And because they dry down completely, I mean, really? And because they dry down completely, they would make a really great lip topper. I think it's fun. I don't know. They're super, super disappointing. Even then, I just kind of blended that out and it disappeared. I have a little bit of that kind of sparkle left, but the shift completely disappears. I don't know. They definitely need to work on this formula. I was so excited. These were the ones that I was the most excited about. I paid full price for these. I paid $18 for all three of these liquid eyeshadows, as much as I paid for the palette. And I don't know how I'm going to get any use out of these other than maybe a lip topper or a liquid liner. Definitely skip these. Super, super disappointing. But I really enjoyed the palette. All in all, I think this was an okay release. I think Beauty Bay definitely cut corners with the liquid eyeshadows. They changed the formula on the shimmers in this palette. Again, just because they're not that super creamy, almost putty-like formula. In my other Beauty Bay palettes, they're a little bit drier. They're nice, but they're not the absolute best. So unless you are incredibly in love with this color story, unless you just need to have this in your life, I probably not the one for you. Definitely would say maybe wait and find something different. Unless, you know, you really just, you want it and you want to work with the shadows. Guys, it's all in all, maybe just the tiniest bit lackluster. Still beautiful, still, pretty great formulas, but you it just needs a little bit, just that tiny bit of extra TLC to really make it shine as brightly as it can. Yeah, so let me know if you guys got this palette. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm just having an off makeup day. If I had the chance to repurchase this palette, would I repurchase it again? I definitely would. I would repurchase this palette just because I love the shimmers in there. And though they take just a little bit of extra TLC to really make them shine as brightly as they can, I do think that the color story and everything combined really it makes it worth it. It makes for a really beautiful, beautiful eyeshadow look. And I don't have anything else quite like this in my collection, so I'm happy to have it. I just want to kind of warn you guys that it is going to take just a little bit of extra effort. You definitely need to make sure that you're putting these down, the shimmers down, on a tacky base using a glitter glue, or else you're really just not going to get the payoff that you're looking for. Guys, that's going to be all for me today. I want to go finish doing my dinner, go finish doing homework, all that good stuff. Mr. Hubby should be home any minute now. Please let me know in the comments if you have this palette, if you've been thinking about picking it up. I don't know. I like it. I just don't want, it doesn't have like my full seal of approval. I think that it just that bit short of it. Don't worry about those liquid eyeshadows though. They're terrible. They're terrible and they're not worth your money. Guys, as always, I will list everything that I talked about in today's video in the description box below, along with the links to all my other socials, Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. I will, of course, be posting finished pictures over on Instagram and Facebook. If you're not following me everywhere, please make sure you go do that. I post fun content every single day, and if you're following me everywhere, you don't have to worry about missing a single moment of it. Yeah, as always, no filters, no edits, no fancy lighting. It's just me sitting in front of my camera, playing with some new makeup, warning you to stay away from those liquid eyeshadows, and hoping you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. Until next time, my beautiful, amazing mamas, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're important. Bye.